Okay, how about now? We're back to this shit. You guys can hear this now, right? This one? Hello? This one should work. All right. Fuck. I thought I had the other one set up. Great. All right. Well, that's disappointing. Come on. Well, at least you guys have the chat box, right? That's the main thing. We got the chat box. Chat box. That's the big draw. Who needs the other mic? One step at a time. It was too ambitious. I think it was too ambitious me trying to work in the new mic this stream while also trying to bring back the chat box. That's by far too much, right? Man, shit. Okay, what's this? I missed some super. Top Don 97, I'm unpinning your comment. Get out of here. Crunky Crucker says turn down mic. Shut up, man. It's too quiet. It's good, right? It's good. It's quiet? Is it quiet? Can't be that quiet. All right, how about now? How about now? Is it better now? Should be a little bit louder. Lau Recto says, what the fuck so early? Yeah, that's what I said when I saw the chapter came out. I was like, how is this? Why is this? How is this happening? You know? I was like, how? Because it's not like this was a chapter that didn't have a lot of dialogue. How quiet is it? Here, let me raise a bit more. How about now? How about now? Is this better? Yeah? All right. Stinger, thank you for becoming a member for 3 months. Thought I was going to be late today, guess not. Yep. Right on time. Samuel Amargi, member for 3 months. Watching you from Kiev, Ukraine. Nice. Happy there's a stream when I'm awake for once. Thanks for being a member for 3 months. Keep up the great work. Appreciate it. I appreciate you. And if you're in Ukraine right now, honestly, I feel like there should be some better words that I can say. I'll try to entertain you, man. That's all I can really do. Yeah, I'll try and entertain you. Sorry about that. Keenan, what's going on? Member for 3 months. Have I read the chapter? Great question. Yes, I have read the chapter. I have read the chapter. Here's the thing. When you guys tell me to fuck with... Okay, so I see your chat delayed, right? So when you guys keep telling me to change the mic stuff, sometimes I make those changes to move it past a point where it was already good because I haven't heard the positive feedback yet. So if you guys like the way the mic is, you guys have to get your positive feedback in right away. I have read the chapter. I like the chapter. Joe Fernandez is, why is your hair so long? That's just the way it is. SSP Pancakes, thanks for joining the Yonko for 3 months. 3-month Yonko tier member. Vanward says, have you seen film Red? If not, please do, because it's great, and I want you to power scale Uta. I'm probably not gonna... I don't know if I'm gonna watch film Red, to be honest. I've seen so many clips. I think I've seen all the action clips. I've seen the important stuff. Sean says chapter was out yesterday? I thought it came out this morning. Yeah, the new mic will have to be worked in next stream, because I don't know if you... So yesterday or Tuesday's video was already using the new mic. So I can do it for recordings. Looks like for streams I gotta make some change. Makito Brady says, why are you streaming in the daytime? Because the chapter came out early. The chapter came out so early, that's why. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to mix up the schedule too much, because a lot of people look forward to the streams at night, so I threw out a poll on the channel, and most people, I think 60% voted to just do it right now. So yeah. Sheriff Floppy says, Dragon just never seems in control. Yeah, man, Dragon's just not, like, if... Here's the thing. There's 2 characters that I think for the longest time fell in this category of these sort of badass, mysterious presences that we knew had held great sway in the grand scheme of things, and we're really looking forward to see them, right? Because especially once Whitebeard was gone, because it was like one of these two guys is kind of the new figure that's kind of the strongest good guy character in the world, if that makes sense, right? Those two were Shanks and Dragon, right? Shanks and Dragon, they both kind of filled a similar niche, I'd almost say. I mean, very similar, honestly, because they both have a sort of, they're kind of that father figure to the main character in different ways. Dragon, not like Dragon in the literal sense, but also not in the actual. Dragon in the technical sense, but not in terms of what it actually means. Versus Shanks not actually being Luffy's father, but actually playing that role in a certain sense, right? So they're those two kind of characters that you expect to see in most stories, fantasy series, shonen, etc. Kind of like the big good figures, what we call them. If you have a big bad, you got a big good, right? And they both, again, both mysterious aura. We knew very little about them, knew very little about their full motivations, what they're about. Both seemed like absolute cold badasses anytime we saw them. Shanks is hard maintained that persona. Dragon has turned out to be kind of a, he's kind of a panicker. He's kind of a panicker. He's kind of a, he's kind of a anxiety ridden anxiety ridden kind of like spazzy kind of guy, you know, at least from what we've seen so far. Last chapter, I think, did a lot to scale his persona back to what it once was, 1066, because last chapter he seemed, again, we saw the older version of Dragon. You know, I don't know, it seemed pretty I don't know, just pretty similar to his old sort of, the old perception of him, I guess, right? This stoic, this very stoic, serious, visionary individual traveling the world, seeing everything that's going wrong with it, and just coming up with these grand plans of how to change things, right? This chapter, he's back to, oh no, what the fuck is going on? We don't understand anything. Kuma, Sabo, somebody help me. I need someone hold my hand, please. Razvan Antonescu says, Sir George, late and muted, but still love you. Glad to see you this early. Also like the goddamn stream. Have I not asked people to like the stream? Thank you very much, Razvan. The most important part of every stream is not what I bring to the table, but the likes you guys bring to the table. Everybody like the stream. Let's all like the stream. Let's get the stream likes up to something insane, something crazy, something that'll make Razvan proud. 300 likes. JK Kane says, Buggy is going to connect everyone in the world via Vegapunk Wi-Fi tech and get rich. Maybe. I don't know if that's the future. Be quite a good call if you're correct about that. Jade FW, welcome to the Yonko. Stigmatizes Dragon soy face. Yeah, remember when he didn't have constant soy face? Now he has resting soy face. I'm just kidding. I still have high hopes for Dragon. I'm not trying to, it's just that no matter how you spin it, Dragon stocks have not looked good since the Reverie, right? But I'm still trying to be excited for Dragon. My hope is that Oda doesn't kind of, my hope is that, because there's only space for so many of that type of character, so my hope is that Oda isn't kind of like picking and choosing between Shanks and Dragon, which I hope he's able to give both of them their shine, if that makes sense. Pure Sullivan says, Morj missed my super. No, I didn't. I'll catch it right now. No, I didn't. Where is it? I don't believe you. I'll find it. Where is it? Okay, I found it. Hey, Morj, last chapter, Frankie got mad at Vegapunk when he made Robin cry. Robin confirmed? I'm gonna be honest. I've always felt like there's a solid possibility for Frankie Robin romance, just because I feel like those two characters out of the entire Straw Hat crew, they I think it's rare. I think it's the only instance in the series where two Straw Hats joined the crew at the same time, and it was clear that what mattered the most at the end of the day for their development was like the single individual that mattered the most for their own development was the other one, right? Robin, of course, the entire Straw Hat crew was very, very important, but over the course of the Water 7 Enies Lobby arc, it was the Robin Frankie relationship that did wonders for both of those characters, right? And both of those characters were able to get a lot out of that. And both of those, like, I think that dynamic was probably the most important for Robin out of that entire arc. So, and most important for Frankie out of that entire arc. Then there's small things that you kind of get throughout the series. I think like Frankie and Robin are still very close. I think one of the reasons that Robin isn't like, I think if you had to ship Robin with a character, I think it would probably be Frankie. It just seems to make sense to me. Um, but I think one of the reasons, to be honest, that that's not a commonly seen ship like Robin Frankie is because it's not like a sexy ship, if that makes sense. You know, it's much cooler to be like, oh, well, what if it's like Robin and people throw out Robin and Zoro, people throw out Robin and Law a lot recently because these are more popular characters with that people would rather see Robin with, I suppose. But um, yeah, I just think that Robin Frankie, at the same time, Robin Frankie could be completely platonic, and it's just that they grew really close, and that was important for both of their characters. But I don't think it's crazy to think that. Like, I think if you step aside from what's a cooler, more exciting ship or whatever, I think that it's not odd at all to think that if Robin would be romantically with somebody, it would be Frankie. Loki says Frankie's out of Robin's league, to be honest. Stigmatized says they're all in an open relationship with one another. What if that's actually the case? Like what we don't see going on in the Thousand Sunny. It's actually just the Strahd Pirates are just a giant sex cult. Like they've got a lot of time to kill. Maybe Oda only cuts back when they're doing the PG stuff like fishing and shit. Rusvan Antonescu says just making sure everyone likes the stream. Yeah. Did we get those 300 likes? Almost. We're close. Guys, we can get it there. Let's get to the 300. Frankie's attracted to boats and robots. Loki says, will Brooke be able to bring back Ace after he awakens? Yes, of course. Of course. They're all coming back, guys. They're all coming back. They will all be back. Don't even worry about it at this point. I am excited to see Bellamir's return. If I had to rank it, I would say most excited to see Hiriluk's return, then Bellamir. Actually, once Whitebeard comes back, that'll be pretty cool. Keenan says, my thoughts on what the power source that the ancient machine used might be for it to be beyond Vegapunk's ability to recreate is crazy. So my thought is this, which is it like they're talking about an unending flame? How many details did we get on Lunarian flames? This is not like a purely me original idea. I feel like I've seen people talk about like, oh, what if they're talking about Lunarian flames? That's all I've got at the moment. What if it's like the Lunarian flame or something like that? Alternative possibility. Wait a second. I got a crazy theory here. Okay, two things. Okay, let's talk about the first one. Okay? First one is what do you call? First one is Lunarian stuff, right? It does not, as far as I can tell, the Seraphims that we have right now, even though they have Lunarian DNA, they're not able to create the fire. Maybe Lunarians are important for the reason being that their flames are undying or some shit so they can fuel the world forever. Maybe. Was that established about King's flames or anything like that? Was that ever established? The cola fruit? I don't think it's going to be something as silly as cola. I think that this is something important to the story. So Lunarian stuff, I think that's a possibility. I definitely think that that's a possibility. Because the race is clearly important for some reason, right? We don't know what the full reason is, but we know that the race is important to the story and that Oda is going to great lengths to work them into the story and only at a very late game thing. So I think Lunarians, that's a possibility. Alternative possibility, which is kind of on the crazier side. It doesn't really make sense 100%, but maybe the key is ultimately something to do with the Sun God fruit. Maybe the key, because the way he makes it sound, they need a perpetual flame, perpetual energy source, something like that. Maybe it's something to do with the Sun God fruit. I have no idea. Because as far as we understand right now, the Sun God fruit is more so, it does this goofy shit that has nothing to do with being a sun god or whatever. But maybe there's some aspect to it that we have not yet seen that actually is related to the sun and related to flames. I don't know. That's a alternative idea there. There's nothing about Luffy's fruit so far that suggests that it should be actually flame related, right? As far as we've seen. But it is called the Sun God Fruit, and we know that Luffy is going to be very important. End of story. We know that that Devil Fruit is important. I don't know. Mr. MMF2, do you guys have any other ideas? Ideas about the potential perpetual flame, what that could be, or perpetual energy source? Mr. MMF2 says, "What do you think Kuma freaking out means?" It could be something to do with. Um, it could be something to do with. I okay. Maybe it's something to do with him sensing some danger approaching either his daughter or Vegapunk. That's all I got, right? Something to do with something like that. Or maybe something tied to his Seraphim version of himself, but I doubt that that's the case because we haven't really seen a tie. Well, yeah, we haven't really seen a tie between any of the Seraphims and their human selves in terms of their reactions to things, right? But if it's possible that it's something that he's reacting to based on the fact that danger is currently approaching either Vegapunk, so the person that programmed him and stuff, or his daughter. I don't know how the fuck he would sense that though, but we'll see. Sheriff Lafitte says, "Do you think CP0 will have backup? Because the 3 of them versus the Straw, it sounds like a beatdown, let alone the 6 Vegapunks too." I have some thoughts that are coming out in Tuesday's video. Let's see. But I don't think that's. I think that this is just not a fair fight at all right now for CP0. I think that they're. I don't. It's so far from a fair fight. I would love to see Lucci's reaction to seeing Luffy again as a Yonko and stuff. I would love to. I've said this before on stream, but one of the things I felt was always missing with, not in a bad way at all, but one thing that we just never got to see between Luffy and Lucci was kind of their final sort of their entire final section of their battle was silent, which is not usually the case between Luffy and the opponent, right? Luffy and Doflamingo, the end of their battle is marked by like an exchange of blah, like whatever the fuck they've been thinking, the ideals, etc. that they've been talking about so far, right? Luffy versus Kaido, same thing. Luffy versus Crocodile, same thing. Luffy versus Arlong, same thing. Luffy versus Moria, same. Like they have a conversation as the battle is ending usually. Luffy and Lucci, they didn't really get to say their goodbyes, They didn't get to say what's up at the end. They didn't really get to say their closing thoughts. They didn't get to give their closing speeches. There were no closing speeches. It was more like Usopp yelling and Luffy being like, "I'm gonna beat him up no matter what," and then Lucci's just like this dude awkwardly standing in the middle, like, "Okay, I guess. All right, we're fighting again. All right, you guys done? All right, I guess we fight again." And then he loses. Again, my favorite fight ending by far in for me, Dread Gatling is my favorite ending by far in One Piece, and it's not close. Luffy versus Lucci, the climax of that fight, the emotions, etc., the Usopp scene, that's my favorite by far. It's not close. But what I'm saying is that because Oda went all in on such serious, almost silent exchanges like between those two characters at that point, we didn't really get to see the closing thoughts between Luffy and Lucci. I would love to see Lucci meet Luffy again. See how that shakes out. I don't want to see him fight again. It's just, for me, it's always tedious to see here, unless it's like a rival or something like that, where you expect the main character to fight that rival multiple times over the course of the series as they grow. It's never fun for me to see a hero have to go back, especially after they've come so far, to have to go back and fight some guy that they've already fought and it be treated as a serious fight, because it hurts the sense of progress for me. Okay, no, never mind. I didn't miss anything. Ace or Sabo's fruit, the Mera no Mi. Twilight Yonder 720 says, if it's the Mera no Mi, could it be an awakening power? That would be awesome. That would give Sabo so much significance in the story, if it's the Mera no Mi. And that's so cool, because it really would be Ace's will inherited down, like what Ace was supposed to be for the world, right? He was supposed to be Joy Boy, supposed to bring the dawn, but his fruit being passed on to his brother, who then could potentially, through awakening, bring what the world needs, which would be, perpetual light, whatever the fuck this Vegapunk thing is, right? This thing. If he could do that, I think that'd be really, really, that would be really, really fitting. Behenort says, as streamer, You need to prove yourself in the free marketplace of ideas. Debate Vouch on. Debate Vouch on. Who's Vouch on? Debate Vouch on something, whatever you want. Maybe One Piece. He's a One Piece fan. Who's Vouch? Who is this guy? You're saying he's a One Piece fan? So he's not even a One Piece like YouTuber? What are we gonna debate about? Pierce Sullivan says Vegapunk looks like he works out at the library. Also, is he a regular genius with a genius fruit, making him a double genius? I think that's what I picked up on, that he's smart regardless of the fruit, but having the fruit, it's kind of probably like how Jesus Burgess is strong without the strength fruit. This was something. Okay, I don't want to be okay. Let me backtrack my ideas. First of all, yeah, so it's kind of like Jesus Burgess was strong without the strength fruit, but now that he's got it, it's just fittingly in the hands of someone who is really, really strong. This was something that I thought when the strength fruit was first introduced, which was that what if Vegapunk has the intelligence fruit? I didn't like that idea just because to me it was kind of like I preferred the idea that like Vegapunk's just this once in a generation, once in a millennia genius or something that's popped up organically, because otherwise every generation that has someone with that brain fruit would basically have somebody that can do this stuff. But at the end of the day, it sounds like he's a special, like it sounds like he's smart, plus he's got the genius or the smart fruit, so it just makes him light years ahead, I guess, of what anybody else could compete with. It also feels almost a little unfair to me because it's like we've got these it makes me look at these other scientists that used to get mocked for being like, they just used to be made to look like chumps compared to Vegapunk for the longest time, right? Like, oh, Caesar Clown, what an idiot. He can't make any of this shit. Vegapunk can, right? Like, Judge, he's been working so hard on his little clones and stuff, but Vegapunk's got these Seraphims down. You know, even Queen, like, just Queen worked on some shit with Vegapunk too. I used to just be like, damn, like, these guys all suck because they're just jealous people living in the shadow of Vegapunk. But turns out it's not fair. It's not a fair fight exactly, is it? If, like, you know, they're all geniuses, but one genius ate a fruit that makes him a super genius. It's just, now I look a little bit more fondly, like, Caesar is probably the smartest person in the One Piece world that's not using PEDs, right? He's the smartest all natural. Like, let's put some respect. Everybody emotes, whatever. What's the best emote for this? I forgot. We're supposed to get in some more emotes by this stream. We'll get it for next stream. Everybody, let's do Fujitoras. Let's do some Fujitora laughs for Caesar. Everybody, let's show some respect for Caesar. In my opinion, smartest man in the One Piece world, that's all natural. All natural, no performance-enhancing drugs, no steroids, no devil fruits needed. He plays fair, right? It's not his fault he can't compete with Vegapunk. I'm sure if you took Vegapunk's fruit and gave it over to Caesar, Caesar would probably be doing some pretty great stuff right now. Yeah, I think it's time we should put some respect on Caesar's name. Yeah, this is BS. I would be pissed if I was Caesar too, that everybody's sucking off this dude that just ate a special fruit that he can't eat. Come on now. Blue, thanks for being a Yonko for 2 months. Hey, are you comfortable sharing your Reddit account? Also, please collab with Hidden Island or watch his stuff on stream. You both have the best vibes on One Piece. Oh, dude, I have been meaning to... I'll get Hidden Island on soon. I'll get Hidden Island on really soon, just because I've been meaning to for the longest time. I'm not just saying that. I've been meaning to for the longest time. I just keep forgetting. And like Power Vision tried to connect me to him. I'll get Hidden Island. I promise I will get Hidden Island on. Promise I'll get Hidden Island on. Rezvan Antonescu says, can the giant robot be, well, oh, and, okay, no, never mind. I thought the chat box went away for a second. Fuck. All right. Can the giant robot be, well, a giant version of Automata? Oh, interesting. On the moon. And the unlimited power has something to do with Enel's fruit. Enjoy the stream, y'all. Yeah, everybody enjoy the stream. Make sure to do that. The unlimited power has something to do with Enel's fruit. The unlimited power has something to do with Enel's fruit. I don't know if it's Enel's fruit, though. I mean, I don't know if it's Enel's fruit. Because then it's just like, fuck, Enel's just, like, he helps bring world peace? I don't know, or does Enel die and somebody else does it? Kid Clip 2 cases Morj get a haircut. So the last haircut, I got a haircut recently, and that got off the sides basically, but I kind of left a lot on the top. Let me see if I'll probably get a haircut again soon and get a little more off the top. Guma Boomba says Eve Tree as a source as it brings sunlight to Fishman Island. But that's not my understand. It's not literally creating sunlight though, right? It's just a channel for sunlight to be able to travel through, right? Sheriff Laffy says, think the cover story will have any remaining twists or points. I think it could. I like this cover. I think we all like this cover story a lot at this point. No one in particular says big brain fruit kind of diminishes Vegapunk, in my opinion. I mean, I still like the character. As we understand it, the character is still supposed to be very organically smart. It's just that Oda is going for somebody that's so ridiculously like what Oda's going for here is just something that like the plot that he's trying to approach with Vegapunk, it doesn't work unless it has like an inhuman sort of knowledge base, right? Somebody that has essentially potential for unlimited knowledge to the point that the brain can be so big it can be taken out and separated and all that stuff. So it's not, I think it takes away from the idea that there's just this one dude who was so smart organically that he was like light years ahead technology wise, but that's because the plot was always going to be something much bigger than that, right? Kind of want to do a poll because I see Giorno saying Judge is way smarter than Caesar. I might do a poll. I'll throw. Who else do we have? Any geniuses we're missing right here? We've got Caesar, Vegapunk, Judge. Sorry, no, we're taking Vegapunk out of the picture. Caesar, Judge, Queen. I feel like Queen. I don't know. Josh Ferris says, so with us getting Devil Fruit hints this chapter, are we certain that this arc reveals the history of Devil Fruits or Void Sentry? It can't reveal the history of the Void Sentry, right? Because then why the fuck are we trying to get to Laughdale, It could reveal some stuff about Devil Fruits. Side note, I love this little moment in the chapter where it was like, the reveal that the reason that Momo's fruit is considered a failure is because he got the color wrong. Which honestly is actually the one thing that could improve the fruit as it helps differentiate it from the existing fruit, right? So that we weren't confused anytime there are two dragons around. So, in fact, I think even where he fucked up, he did something right. Mr. MMF2 says Sharky and Bob Builder emotes. You guys like that? So that's shouts to I didn't even thank him. That's shouts to the editor because like it was a long ass video. So the whole video is kind of on a delayed schedule. So he's working on it really late at night, which means that I'm like staying up stressed. Like, when's the video going to come out? So then once the video's done, I'm just like skimming the fuck through it. Like, okay, good. Oh, he ran with Bob the Builder and shit. Okay, cool. All right, good. So I didn't process it. Then I'm reading the comments later, and I realized that everybody really, really liked the jokes that he threw in. I'm like, oh, I should probably say something. Thanks for reminding me, guys. I'll say something. Yeah, okay. We got anyone else besides Queen? Anyone else besides Queen? Why is Judge smarter than Caesar for sure? You're saying Judge is smarter than Caesar for sure? Sheriff Laffy says, forgot to ask about the giant 200 years ago, and Robin mentioned Fishman rights beginning then too. What connection do you think Oda is drawing there? It's so weird because it's like, I literally, I can't understand. Because, okay, so they think that the giant scaled the red line, right? Or something like that. But then also that's similar in some way, right, to Fisher Tiger, correct? That's like, is that what has to happen every time? Is it just symbolic? Is it just symbolic that every time in the One Piece world the red line gets scaled, some shit changes? Because I guess for the Fishman, I don't know. I don't know, man. Let me read this a little bit again. Okay. Yeah, is it just a symbolic thing? Hiruluk's not smart. I mean, he's very kind, but he's not a knowledgeable doctor, Lindbergh, Kureha's very smart as a. Okay, let's say smartest scientist. The other thing with Kureha is that like it's hard to scale the doctors, I think, a little bit because people are throwing out Chopper and Hogback. In my opinion, I think Chopper's the smartest doctor that we've seen. But I think it's hard to scale the doctors because it's like doctors have like scientists have more tangible sort of feats that they can put out, right? Like they can, Vegapunk created this whole gigantic lab and everything like that. doctors, like Korea, we just did not get to see that much of her because it's not as though she had to deal with some uncurable illness or something like that. Chopper, we got to see him. We've gotten to see him cure a wide variety of things at this point. But then Hogback was stitching people back up. It's hard to say. Animated Dimension says Vegapunk fruit doesn't make him smart. It just helps him to remember every details in his life. It's like unlimited storage capacity, similar to real world syndrome. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I still think it's unfair to compare him. We have no way of scaling exactly how smart he would be compared to Caesar without the fruit. Keenan says Usopp Loki a genius with the climb attack. It's nasty work. That's true. Let's not forget how smart Usopp has to be in the context of fights too, on the fly. Josh Ferris says Vegapunk OCD confirmed with Momo fruit. Yeah. Khalid Suleiman, I thought that was a great touch. Khalid Suleiman says, could the energy source / perpetual flame be the flame on Lunarian's back? Yeah, that's something that we talked about earlier this stream. Would explain the world government researching King to replicate it. I'm sure there's a lot of reasons to, because the thing is that they're using Lunarian DNA as is, but they clearly haven't been able to replicate necessarily that aspect of the the undying flame, right? Because I don't think we've seen that from any of the Seraphims. Let me do a quick poll. Who's smarter? I don't even know why I would throw Queen in there. I'll throw Queen in there. Smartest natural scientist. Let's see. So we got everybody, right? We got Caesar. We got Judge. I'll throw Queen in there. Frankie. Yeah, wait, why don't I throw in Frank? I guess because Frankie, he's also not a scientist. He's not a scientist, but he's probably a better engineer than any of them, right? So what I really mean here is smartest scientist. It's tie. Okay, I'm gonna take. Okay, because I see a tie, right? And then Caesar, Queen's just throwing off the vote. So I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna do this again. This time with just Judge and because Queen's just not really involved, is he? Smartest scientist. To Judge versus Caesar. I'm very curious about this. Very, very curious about this. I didn't realize it would be that even. Yeah, that's I think I'm being unfair with Frankie. I can throw Frankie in there, but then I don't want Frankie to win just because we like Frankie and then we hate these guys. Can people tell me why is Judge ahead of Caesar? I don't mean that in an accusatory sense. I think I'm literally forgetting a lot of what Judge was able to do. What did Caesar? Caesar did some wacky stuff. He created some really good. Okay. It looks like Judge takes it with about 57%. Died D just says, wouldn't Vegapunk know Luffy's fruit is really Nika? Would he? Would he? How would he? Razvan Antonescu says, Hattori received a mask too. He might be a true force. I thought it was a cool little callback that the mask that Luffy's wearing that Lucci's wearing right now is the same. It's a little mask that he put on for one chapter back in Water 7. It was in between. If you go back to Water 7, in between the battle at Iceberg's mansion and between when they went to the shipyard to take out Frankie, Lucci wore that little mask, that almost half-assed little paper mask, basically, just to barely cover his eyes and stuff, to talk to the Frankie family and be like, where's your boss? And I thought that was pretty cool at the time because it was just, he was so far, they were just, everything's on fire, the sky's falling, etc. They've basically gone full reveal. They've started showing Iceberg and everybody who they are, but for a moment they still gotta play pretend, right? They gotta play pretend with the Frankie family. Let's hide our identities just for a moment, and then so you've got Lucci, this cold-blooded killer, with just this little piece of paper over his eyes, just to hide his identity, just a tiny bit. Be like, hey, what's up? You're gonna tell me what I need to know right now. So I like that mask coming back here as his actual official CP0 mask. It's pretty cool. Alan Grinball, message retracted. Bastiano T says Nami was the one who figured out how to make the climb attack useful. Tired of people giving Usopp credit for this. Yeah, but Usopp had to make it. That's the thing. I think Usopp having to make it that's the. I mean, Nami's obviously going to be smarter when it comes to actually using weather-based abilities, but let's not like the actual scientist behind it was Usopp, you know? That's not to discredit Nami's use of Nami's obviously the smartest person in the world when it's going to come to being able to use that weapon effectively, right? But at the same time, that doesn't mean that she's a scientist in term or an engineer. Is really what I mean. Remix King says, Morj, what do you consider science or the overall qualifications to make and or not make someone a scientist? That's not a good question for me. That's honestly, I'm sure more of you guys who are very well versed in the STEM fields, etc. Because I feel like a lot of anime fans are also fucking STEM nerds. So I feel like you guys. I'm just going with my casual sort of distinct. I don't have a very well defined distinction here. I guess I just know. I think I'm rolling with kind of how it feels as though the series has been defining it. So the series kind of puts certain labels on Caesar as a scientist, Judge as a scientist, things like that. Vegapunk obviously as a scientist, and then it defines Frankie more so as a mechanic or a shipwright. So I'm kind of rolling with that, but obviously there's a tremendous amount of overlap since who did Frankie really kind of learn from over the time skip? It was from Vegapunk and Vegapunk stuff, because obviously science, engineering, those two things sort of go hand in hand, right? So maybe you guys can give me a better explanation of what you think would be the differentiator between a scientist versus whatever the fuck Frankie is. Alan Grinball, thank you. Pocket Monster says, Judge with cloning and the Germa exoskeletons and raid suits kind of win it for me. I see that. One of the things I'll say is that in terms of straight effectiveness, if your goal is to be able to take, like, if your goal is to create dangerous weapons, so Judge ran with the more so the army route, right? Caesar was kind of running with the army route, but his army was shitty because he created like smile fruits, which suck, and giant kids, which could have led to something. But Caesar also created Shinokuni, and I think that that's kind of underestimated. Like, that was a weapon of mass destruction. The entire Straw Hat crew, all trained up post time skip and everything like that, they were running for their lives. Nobody could deal with that. Like, Shinokuni was a menace. I think people forget this, but Caesar really created a there was no real solution to it, was there? It kind of just went off and everyone was fucked. Honestly, they should use it. Honestly, there's not really a how do you beat this thing? Did Caesar create a nuke that everyone kind of just forgot about? I think Shinokuni is a big deal. Because if you take Judge and all of his technology and you throw it at Caesar, I know that fighting is not the end all be all of that's not the end goal of science, etc. Blah 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 blah. I'm just saying though that was their goals in a sense. That was how they were directing their efforts to create weapons and armies and things like that. And so if you take all of Caesar's shit and you throw it at Judge's shit, I think Judge's shit loses. That's all I'll say. I don't know what they're doing against Shinokuni. I think Shinokuni's a big deal. Caesar also comes across as a bit of a bumbling dumbass a lot of times too, so it's maybe that's influencing us to view him in a slightly worse light. No, dude, Caesar fucked up. Time out. No, let's really think about this. Caesar soloed the entire Mink army, essentially. You know that, right? Caesar's gas soloed all of Zou. And Zou's not a weak country, right? Zou's not, the Dukes are very strong. The Dukes are commander level characters. The Minks are strong characters. Carrot is, like, they have Carrot, Pedro, etc., all of these guys. I think that's a pretty big deal, I think Caesar's weaponry is being underestimated here, honestly, because it was broken. They couldn't do any, so far, as far as I've seen, you can't really do anything about Caesar's gas weapons. They had, they've got a 100% success rate so far in terms of fucking people up. Anna Dimension says, Caesar inventions are not complete. Devil fruits have side effects, and gigantification isn't complete. Only thing he perfected is poison is because of his devil fruit. That is actually such a good point. I can't believe I did not take that into account. He has the gas fruit. That's the same way that I'm giving Vegapunk. I'm knocking points off of Vegapunk, right? Because he's obviously got a fruit that gives him an advantage. Caesar would have really dangerous gas weapons because he can create any gas he wants and then experiment with it. I take it back. Judge is smarter. I take it back. Good point. Good point. Sometimes you guys make really good points. All right. My bad. My bad. Caesar's not the smartest. Caesar's not that smart at all. Because all the other stuff he does doesn't really work. Bastiano T says Usopp literally made a party contraption. It is literally a party contraption, but he also explains some actual uses for it in the back. You know, I mean, it's a party contraption, but keep in mind this was a side gig that she didn't pay for, and she threw at him on the fly. He's not Frankie, you know. This isn't. Come on now, I think you guys are being too harsh on him. Guys, let's get the stream likes up to 500. We can get it up to 500. Got 1,000 people in here. Let's get it up to 500. Terry Martin says, theory. Vegapunk gave Kuma the ability to connect and share info with Punk records. That's how he knows something is wrong with Bonnie. Also, Melee Wen. You got it. I think he got it. I think that's it. I think that one's it. I think that it just fits. The two pieces of information that we got this chapter, right? Kuma having reaction, Punk records. Those two things fit very neatly, in my opinion, at least, to suggest that that's what's happening right now. I think that Kuma is being alerted through some method right there. That makes a lot of sense to me. Great stuff. I think, Terry Martin, you're right. Melee Wen. I haven't played Melee in like a minute. I got on, I think. I played a few weeks ago. I was playing on and off, but now I'm off the wagon again. Although the Melee scene is really exciting right now. Alan Grinball says, I wonder if Oda is still looking for his ideal new nakama. As of now, do you see a high possibility of that being Bonnie or maybe Lilith? His ideal new nakama. I think Bonnie is way more of a likelihood than Lilith. Bonnie is, I think Bonnie's got a very good shot at being Straw. Here are the reasons I think Bonnie has a good shot. Honestly, better shot than anybody that I was throwing around in my head in Wano. It's just because there's clearly a lot of focus that's going to be on her character right now, right? I think that there's no Wano. You could go through different Wano. There were so many characters; it was hard to say that any of them were going to get enough focus for them to be a Straw Hat, except maybe Momonosuke, and Momonosuke's story ultimately ends up with him being Shogun, right? So Bonnie, we get a tremendous amount of focus. She's been around in the story for a minute. It's apparent now that it's one of those things where it feels like there's now, if she joins right now, then she's got this arc, Elbaf, and Laughdale. So that's kind of 3 arcs of being on the Straw Hat Pirates crew. I don't think Bonnie's necessarily joining. I'm just saying that if I have to evaluate her as a candidate, right? I think there is, because this arc seems like it's going to be a more significant arc than a lot of us expected. It seems like this arc would be a good amount of time for her to, bond with the crew. Then you've got Elbaf as well, and then you've got Laughdale. So that's a few arcs time to essentially establish herself as, it wouldn't feel like she's joining necessarily last minute, because it seems like we've got some more steps to go than we thought, right? So that's 1. 2, it's clear that she's going to get a tremendous amount of focus right here, right? Tremendous amount of focus this arc. 3, it's clear that she's got a very tragic backstory, one that Oda's probably been planning for a really, really, really long time. So I think this is a really, really big one, to be honest. I think that this is probably going to be one of his best backstories in the series. I don't want to put that sort of expectations on it, but it's just clearly one that he's had in the works for a long, long, long ass time. And he's already kind of playing up how sad it's going to be, right? And then lastly, it's because there's such a meshing there's such a congruence between what Bonnie wants and her motivations versus what the Straw Hats are eventually going to be doing. Because Bonnie's motivations are, as far as we can understand, heavily, heavily focused on getting revenge or some sort of closure against the world government, celestial dragons, etc., for what has happened to her father, right? So all of her, because lots of times the way it works, right, is we get to an arc, you got someone like Nami or something like that, you got to resolve their little conflict, and then you can move on. You resolve their conflict, and then she gets slotted in to the broader goals of the rest of the crew, right? Same thing with Chopper. You resolve their little conflict, they get slotted in to the rest of the goals of the crew, right? Bonnie, it's convenient because even though she's coming in very late in the game, it seems like the conflict that is most relevant to her that would need to be resolved, it's not something that's just Egghead Island related. It really is her against the world, right? we know that the world government is after her, right? We know that she hates the world government. She hates the Celestial Dragons. She's always been saying, I'll never forgive them, etc. So with Bonnie, I think it almost makes sense that she comes in this late in the game because she can be a very useful character to kind of segue dramatically into, okay, the final strat that we're getting, she's already fucking on board. Like, the conflict that she wants resolved is related to everything else that's going on right now. That's just the case I'd make for her. You know, there's no, it's a more seamless transition in my opinion. Yeah, I think that's her personality. I think seems to be fitting well with the rest of the strats. I think she could easily join. I'm not gonna put all my money on it, but I definitely think it's a possibility. Opstandne says Frankie may know how to fix the giant bot from seeing Pluton's plans. Maybe Pluton was also powered by a huge power source. Actually, wait a second. Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna do a poll after this video. I'm gonna do a poll after this for members to help decide what the next video for Tuesday is going to be, because I'm bouncing between two different things. So Bonnie is actually one of those two topics. The other topic is Vegapunk. That's the preview I'll give. So I'll do a members only poll after this stream to figure out what I want to do for next week's video. Opstanne says Frankie may know how to fix the giant bot from seeing Pluton's plans. Maybe Pluton was also powered by the huge power source. It would be really cool if Frankie's able to do something that Vegapunk is not doing. Is not capable of doing. That'd be really, really cool. Keenan says, to be fair to Caesar, he also picked up an impossible task of creating giants and pretty much got as close as you could actually get. That's true. That's true. The giant one is pretty valuable. Everyone's been really been wanting for that. The government wants that. Kaido wants that. Big Mom wants that. The giant one is pretty valuable. It is also interesting to think that Caesar, at the end of the day, Caesar was, if you're comparing Caesar to Judge, right? Caesar was the go-to underworld scientist, right? Everybody wanted shit from Caesar. Big Mom and Caesar, Kaido and Caesar, Doflamingo and Caesar. Caesar was the go-to guy. So that is something to consider. They weren't exactly... No, but Big Mom also wanted Judge's technology. It's just the fact is that Caesar was more prominent. He was the most prominent scientist in the world outside of the letter of the law stuff. So that's something to consider. But I see the case that people made. I am also on board that Judge is probably a better scientist. I don't know. Rusvan Antonescu says, thank you, TCB, for early chapter and early Morj. Yeah, thanks, TCB. What happened here? Is TCB in the chat? Is TCB in here? Oh, wow, wait. What did Polmao do? Polmao's going crazy. Holy shit. Polmao again? Man, I appreciate you. Dude, that's crazy. And Jesus B, welcome to the Supernova. Polmao, you are, I wish there was another tier for you. Yonko above Yonkos, Pirate King, I suppose. What else? Hold on, I gotta scroll past some things. Okay, Ippo Takamaru, welcome to the Yonko. Welcome to the Yonko, my friend. Umer Ula, member for 2 months. Yonko member for 2 months. Hey, Morj, someone in chat said that Kuma ran because Shaka said prepare for battle. What do you think? Let me check this panel. Let me check this panel right quick. Prepare for battle. I would not have made that one-to-one connection. So he's really, really just like all Vegapunk robots hands on deck. Interesting. No one in particular says Vegapunk will be nakama and you will like it. I hope Vegapunk's not nakama unless it's just one of his personalities, because again, I feel that it would take away a lot from what Frankie's able to do, right? Frankie looks up to Vegapunk as being the person that he aspires. Vegapunk's the person that he wants to be. I think that there would not be much that Vegapunk can do much that Frankie can do that Vegapunk could not do. Concepcion Mitchell, thank you, appreciate it. Mr. Morj official seems questionable. Hi Morj, what if fully grown Seraphim equals Or's size? That would be crazy, but it does seem to add up just kind of based on like Seraphim so far seem like a combination of all these experiments coming together, so that would make sense as being part of it. Thank you to all of these new members. Sheriff Lafitte, thank you for the 5 Morj memberships. Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I didn't really realize that gifting memberships really work like this, but I'm seeing it more and more recently. This is awesome. Thanks, appreciate it, Sheriff Lafitte. Pocket Monster says, have you talked about the chances of the power source being Cola? Sheriff Laffy, you are a much appreciated member of the chat. I think like every stream, by the way. I feel like I should shout that out while we're just on the subject. The power source being Cola doesn't make sense to me because I just feel like it'd be a little underwhelming. Right? It would just be kind of like what's there to say? It just would feel a little too unbelievable to me that that's what Vegapunk's been searching for this entire time. But you know, it's One Piece. Oda likes his gags. Felix P asked a great question. Any idea why Lucci said Bonnie did her part? That's a great question. Great question, because that was kind of what stuck out to. That was one of the things that I was thinking about the most after this chapter, and I don't have 100% answer. If I had to guess, maybe it's something related to Im, right? Because um, between pre time skip, we never saw Im, right? Post time skip, he's been more active, and this is post Bonnie kind of having made her escape from the world government and everything like that. So maybe Bonnie did whatever needed to be done for Im, and now we're able to see more of Im because Im has been put back into shape or something like that, or in some ways able to be more active again. I don't know. Hawkbox says, would you say Vegapunk is hung or is he a 2-incher? I'm sure one of his bodies is pretty hung. James Halder says, more. Just got my first job. Congrats. Congrats to James Halder. One, I really wanted to. I'd say get ready for more super chats from me as a result, but it's going to be in LA, so I'm going to be broke as fuck. Yeah, don't worry about that, man. Congrats on your first job. I hope it's one that you enjoy, because your first job can sometimes be really shitty, you know, because you're usually starting somewhere pretty not great. Yeah, everybody say thank you to Sheriff Lafitte and Polmau. Lilith is hung. Shaka probably. Yeah, you'd probably make your first bot like the first one. Why wouldn't you? Right? Oh, in the music business. Good shit. All right, guys. One more push. Let's get the likes to 600. Okay, Sam Spot's asking, what do I think of Vegapunk joining Judge, Caesar, and Queen to recreate the Mads? I mean, what would we... One, it seems like they're ready to fight, so I don't know about that, but what would it really lead to in the story? I'm at a point right now where I feel like I like I like everything that's been set up. I don't want to see that many more. I fear slightly that we might verge on too many groups and plot lines if we keep adding more from here, because it's pretty stacked right now. Even just the existence of Cross Guild, that being thrown into the mix, because we've got Luffy, obviously we've got the Yonko, right? Straw Hat Pirates, Red Haired Pirates, Blackbeard Pirates, Cross Guild. That's a mean setup of really fucking strong pirate crews, right? That's a you don't need that many more powerful pirate alliances than that. But we've also got Kid in the background. We've got Law in the background, right? We've got those pirate crews, and we know that Oda's telling us that these pirates are very significant as well. And then outside of that, we've got all these other unaffiliated pirates, allies, potential enemies, etc. More groups like the Mads coming back would be a lot, in my opinion. Because then we got the revolutionaries, we've got Sword, we've got the real Marines that aren't like Sword, we've got CP0 to deal with, and of course Im, etc. I feel like I think we're good. I don't think I need to see Mads come back. I don't think it'd be a bad thing necessarily. It's just I worry. I worry a little bit. Oversized adult Seraphim equals horns and wings equals devil. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, it would look like a giant devil. Yep. Umair Ula says, Morj, read my last dono, please. Wait, did I miss it? Let me see. Let me open up the tab. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Let me read another one while I'm browsing. No one in particular says Vegapunk. No, we covered this. Sheriff Lafitte says, could Caesar and Judge end up being forced to work for the government? In Caesar's flashback, he mentioned Akainu would appreciate his work. That's a good point. That would be a really interesting point. Get the because if they're about to lose Vegapunk, then it would be nice if they got some backup stuff, basically, to essentially, to temporarily at the least fill that void. I mean, we know the final war is about to start, so it's just like, it's not going to be a long-term gig or whatever. But I think just balancing things out could be really, really good. All right, let's see. So from Umar, what did I miss? Umar, I'm not seeing you, to be honest, even in the special tab that I can see all the supers in. I don't know what your last super was. I literally don't see it. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. Just type out what you want to say and I'll try and catch it. Rusvan Antonescu says, why Vegapunk wants to go with the Straw Hats? Like the stream. Yeah, everybody, we're almost at 600. Everybody like the stream. Like the stream. I should probably just put that like on the wall or something so you guys can always see that. Like the stream. Why Vegapunk wants to go with the Straw Hats? Is it... Okay, so if I had to guess, it's a few reasons. One, or maybe two possibilities. Two possibilities, in my opinion, for why Vegapunk wants to leave. And maybe they're both true, okay? So one, he knows they're coming to kill him, right? He knows that the world government is after him. He's been aware that they're going to view him as a problem ever since Lucia Kingdom, because he was involved with Lucia Kingdom or knew too much about the Lucia Kingdom in some way, right? So he knew that they're after him. So he knows that his time at Egghead Island is up. He's got to get out of there. And the Straw Hat Pirates they're Yonko crew. That's one of the few safe havens that you can put yourself under in the world. That's why the Yonko are the Yonko, right? They're able to protect territories. They're essentially a flag that shields things from the world government, right? That's one. But then two is that we know that Vegapunk has he has the same end goal as Dragon, at least from what they were discussing in 1066, right? The same end goal as Dragon, but they're just going about it in different ways. So maybe Vegapunk now feels that now is the time that whatever the time has come for whatever he's trying to do, whatever Dragon's trying to do, for them to kind of pull the trigger on whatever they've been waiting on this entire time. So it seems like Vegapunk's ready to take... It's probably two sides of things, right? So one, Vegapunk knowing that he has to leave because they're going to try and kill him. And two, Vegapunk feeling that now is the time for him to finally take action towards that final goal that, he's been working towards for the longest time. So, and he feels like the Straw Hat Crew is the best way for him to be able to probably stay safe and pull this off, especially because he's probably aware that the Straw Hat Crew have a penchant or reputation for being the world government's number one enemy, the ones that regularly go up against them, etc. Insatiable Hunger says, I'd love to see you collab with Volume 1. They just caught up to One Piece, Berserk, Hunter x Hunter. I don't know who that is. They did with Tekking, Joy Girl, Evil Morj, and hopefully Mr. Morj. I don't know who Volume 1 is. Who's Volume 1? Let me take a look. Who's Volume 1? Is someone I'm supposed to know? Who's Volume 1? Volume 1 podcast? I don't like doing podcasts. Except unless it's my own. Anuj Agrawal, good to see a member for 3 months. Maybe One Piece is the modern reform. Maybe One Piece is the modern reform or revolution. No, I think it's something tangible. Lewis Summers asked a great question. How long are we thinking until Elbaf? Because my opinion has changed quite a bit. I think over the course of this chapter, in terms of how long this arc could potentially be, because it feels like it's kind of set up like the climax or the battle is about to happen, right? This is the point where, if you were to compare to Zoe, this would be the point where Jack arrives, right? But we haven't really it feels like we've also only just scratched the surface of the important shit that it feels like this arc is set to give to us, right? So in that sense, I mean, kind of the 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 information that Vegapunk's kind of still keeping under wraps, Bonnie's backstory and everything like that, and the Kuma situation. It also like it basically feels like certain things are just starting to get going, but Oda's framing it as though, well, now the fight's here, right? Now Lucci, etc. is here. So to me, it's almost as though something is very likely to go off the rails in the next couple chapters in a way that we don't expect. Which means that the arc, I don't think it's gonna be a long ass arc, like 30 chapters, but I could see it easily going another 10 or something like that, or 15 or something. Crunky Crucker says, "Pork, who's winning the tweak off from you and BDA?" Japanese Jim is saying would be a weird mix, but Volume 1 is super funny and nice change of pace from all these smarter One Piece YouTubers. I don't even know what that means. All right, I'm not interested in working with Volume 1. It's just I don't like I don't want to do collabs just for the sake of doing collabs, you know? For the record, you guys might be like, but Morj, you've been doing more collabs on your channel lately. Let me tell you guys the truth, all right? Let me tell you guys the truth about these recent collabs that I've been doing on my streams. Because for the longest time, I really didn't have people on for streams. Especially like post Wano report and everything. I was like, okay, I don't want to be taking time to do collabs and stuff all the time. Here's the real reason. The real reason that we've been doing so many collabs lately, all right? I'm going to drop the link here too to a certain channel, all right? It's because it's we need the content for Morj Unleashed. that's the real answer. Collabs make for really fun content for Morj Unleashed. All right? You think I like hanging out with these guys? No. I need the content for Morj Unleashed. I'm kidding. I do have fun. I had a lot of fun doing Jeopardy with Tekking. I had a lot of fun doing the power scaling with Brago and King and stuff. It is always fun for me to connect with other One Piece YouTubers and just do some goofy shit. But it's also a bit of a hassle to coordinate and everything like that. And it's just easy. Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to do collabs on my own necessarily. But because we want to do some fun stuff for Morj Unleashed, it's like, fuck yeah, let's bring some people on. But yeah, if you guys don't know what Morj Unleashed is, hit the link above. It is the best Morj channel. It is by far the best Morj channel with all of the juiciest, most honest, real thoughts from me that don't make it to other shit. Umair Ullah says, "Hey Morj, someone in chat said that Kuma started to run because Shaka said prepare for battle. Thoughts?" Didn't I respond to that? I swear that's like something that I said, like that I read out loud. Yeah, I think that's an interesting possibility, for sure. Could be that. But it felt like it was something more, I don't know, like some sort of a more emotional trigger rather than just a command. I might be crazy. Let me look at the panel again. Maybe it is just to prepare for battle. I don't know. It just seems like a more frenzied sort of thing. It feels like maybe it is just a command. Who knows? Hawkeye Dragon says, when do you think Big Mom and Kaido are returning since nobody dies in One Piece? Look, I mean, it's the thing that throws me about Wano to this is not like I'm not going to harp over this. All right, this is just really brief. It still just throws me to this day that Ashura and Izzo died when those deaths went by like that. Right? Like, most people believe that Ashura wasn't dead when the bomb went off because it was just, we're so used to Oda going through so many levels. Like, there's like, nobody dies just from a random bomb going off or a bullet through their body or something. Like, nobody really dies from that, right? It has to be something really, really fucking extreme. You have to go so many levels deep, like Akainu's magma fist going through your heart and then just bleeding out to death on the battlefield for a full chapter. Or, you know, same with Whitebeard being shot with like a million cannonballs, blah, 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 killed, like, head torn off, all these bullets, etc., like, attacked by a whole Blackbeard crew of level 6 inmates. Like, you have to go through so many things to really, really die in One Piece. Even Pedro, he did die from just a bomb, but it was a bomb that, you know, we spent a full chapter post that to really linger and kind of establish, okay, he's not coming back. With Ashura, the bomb went off. We didn't really see what happened. Then we kind of moved on from there. Izzo, same thing. Izzo, I think, got stabbed or some shit. It's just we're so used to so much shit having to happen to die in One Piece, and like Oda really, really, really like keeping every last like keeping it as ambiguous as possible so that he can bring them back. That is just the most strange thing when something really generic, essentially like what happened to Izzo, actually kills them, right? And I feel like the same applies to Kaido and Big Mom, because Oda really, 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 if he's killing off a character, he usually really, really goes in on making sure that we understand that the character is dead. Whereas with Kaido and Big Mom, it really wasn't clear that they died. They were just gone and in magma for a while, and it really was not clear that what happened to them. So we weren't sure for the longest time. And then eventually it's kind of just hinted at us that, yeah, they died, which just, it's the total opposite of what happens in One Piece normally. You guys know what I'm saying? It'd be kind of like, I don't know, if we found out that Arlong died being buried under all that rubble like 10 chapters later or something like that. Or I don't know. Like, that's just never what happens. Usually we get some sense of closure or something like that. So that's why it's really surprising to me that I just don't. I think we are supposed to take them as dead, right? But that's why it feels like such an anomaly to me, because it's just not. In One Piece, usually if you don't know whether they're dead or alive, then you assume that they're alive. But in Wano is the opposite, where it's like, I don't know what's up with Izzo, but Izzo's obviously fucking coming back. Oh, we're at his funeral? How did this happen? So, I don't know. I mean, maybe Pedro comes back, as Jaume-san says. I mean, Pudding said something recently that gives you the sense that, hey, maybe Big Mom fucking comes back. We don't know. To me, it's just like, what would Oda do with Kaido and Big Mom if they came back? What's there to be done with them? I feel like there's nothing to be done with them at this point, right? They served their purpose. They were big bad enemies for a bit. They were defeated. There's no fun in seeing them. Luffy's not going to fight them again, right? What's the fun? I just don't know what the final purpose for them would be. Oh, we got some adult dating sites in here. Cool, cool, cool. Always love to see that in chat. Mods, can someone do something, please? Someone? There are no blue. Holy shit. Okay, I see almost no blue wrenches in this chat. You know why? Because this is not the usual stream time. Everyone's at work or something. Lou Sommer says, Morj, do you still think Shanks will be in Elbaf? Yeah, I feel like Elbaf is actually getting set up to be something pretty insane now, much bigger than I thought, because I think that it's entirely possible that Kid shows up at Elbaf, searching for the man marked by flames. Shanks shows up in Elbaf because I think that that's an island that he's tied to. Blackbeard might show up in Elbaf because he's Blackbeard. And then the Strahts are obviously showing up. I think Elbaf could be a an arc of 4 major pirates. That'd be really cool. All right, Phantom's here, Polmouse here. Cool, cool, cool. Thanks. Professor Clover says, can't believe they just brought me back in a flashback just to watch someone else get resuscitated. I don't know. I've been looking at Ovia, because rereading that little backstory, I've been looking at Ovia. I'm like, look, if you want to say that Saul, like if there's anybody's death in that arc that was left ambiguous, it was fucking Ovia. We didn't see anything happen to her. Like, if Saul's coming back, I would not be surprised if Ovia comes back, because really nothing fucking happened to her. She was just telling Robin to get out of there last we saw, pretty much. Yeah, Big Mom could be an Elbaf too. I don't know. Like, Big Mom, it would just be overstaying her welcome so hard. It would just be overstaying her welcome so hard if she's a major villain for another arc, in my opinion. Luz Sommer says Blackbeard would be crazy. It would, but that's the thing. I think Oda's just going crazy with Blackbeard right now. He's just having him do anything wherever. Like, who the fuck? I don't think anybody thought that Blackbeard was attacking Amazon Lily. I really don't know who had Blackbeard attacking Amazon Lily. And then Blackbeard just showing up at Law's doorstep. Who had that? I think everybody thought that the Blackbeard Pirates were going after Whole Cake Island. That wasn't anything special. We all kind of assumed that that's what it was. Even when the cover story started, people were like, oh, who's that at Whole Cake Island? The Blackbeard Pirates? And then we're like, it's just fucking Germa. Okay, Germa. Then Germa's doing their stuff, and then Oda's like, plot twist, it was Blackbeard all along, which was really cool. So, we like, if the thing that we all expected to happen, which was him show up at Whole Cake, that did happen. Not him, but his crew. That did happen. And then all this other random shit happens, like he'll attack Amazon Lily, he'll fucking attack Law. I don't think it'd be that crazy for it to think that he might be at Elbaf, where important stuff is, potentially poneglyphs, potentially stuff like that. Spade says, Kinemon's fake death still pisses me off, especially since he came back with a fart joke and then Ashura dies to a bomb. That was the thing, which is just, I talked about death fake outs versus false death scenes. I never felt like Kinemon got that great of a death scene, so I was never that upset about it, because to me, it's what level of emotional moment is being erased? To me, Kinemon's death wasn't that emotional. I don't remember, and at the time the chapter happened, and before Kinemon was revealed to still be alive, I really, really don't remember anybody talking about oh man, the emotional highlight of Wano was Kinemon's death. No one was really talking about it. It was like, oh, we think Kinemon died or something like that, It wasn't really a great death scene as far as death scenes in One Piece go. It was pretty average. I don't think Oda tried to milk it that hard. So I wasn't that upset when Kinemon came back. I was more upset about Kiku's, because Kiku's death scene is fucking cringe as fuck. It's really, really, really cringe. The dialogue is so out of place and so forced, and such a bad attempt at attempting something poetic and Shakespearean when she's not even dying. It's really, really cringe. But I never actually had that much of a problem with Kinemon. To me, it's confusing just because if he's going to kill Ashura, why not milk Ashura's death? Just milk it. Give us something really emotional or tone changing or something like that from Ashura's death. I think that would be great. That was one of the things that I really wanted out of the raid, which was just milk it. Make it a really dramatic death scene. But then instead he kind of made Kinemon's a dramatic death scene, kind of, and then went back on it. And then he attempted it with Kiku, but it was cringe and bad, and he went back on it. And then he didn't do shit for Ashura. And then that was the one that stuck. That was the thing that always just confused the fuck out of me, because it's what's the point of killing the character if you don't use that for the dramatic juice that death is for? That was the confusing part for me. If you go back and read Pedro's death, even if you don't think Pedro's death is that sad, it worked for everything a death scene is supposed to do for the most part for the story, which is add stakes, have emotional impact, I think, or have a tone shift impact and drastically alter the emotional states of the characters, etc., and create a sort of low point for the arc, a sense of drama, a sense of whatever, right? So I just don't know why he didn't do that with Ashura's death. That was the confusing part to me. The JM Lou 11 says, weird seeing a Yonko crew freak out over one ship. It's the Straw Hats. I think I've realized that unless they're in serious mode, they're just always going to be like that. There's a huge difference between, here's what I've realized. No matter how strong the Straw Hats get throughout the story, no matter how strong they get, if they're in their natural state of being, which is just cruising, traveling around from island to island, adventuring or whatever, there's always going to be a good portion of them that are really thrown off and scared and worried about random shit. But when the Straw Hats are in squad up mode, let's pull up, let's roll up, ready to rumble. When they've got their shit together and they're okay, we're going to war. That group feels like a Yonko crew. When the Straw Hats made their entrance as a whole group at the center of Onigashima, that big spread of all of them, everybody there is ready to fight. Everybody there is ready to fight, and they low-key crush the beast pirates. It's not that hard for them, to be honest. I mean, you can debate varying degree of difficulty across the fights, but overall wasn't that they mostly cruised through it. There was pretty much never a point where they were in a tight spot, essentially. So when the Straw Hats pull up, when they pull up to Eni's lobby, or they pull up to Arlong Park, or they pull up to Onigashima or something like that, when they pull up ready to fight, they're gonna be looking and feeling like, you know, that level of crew. But in their natural organic state, where they're just traveling around an island, sightseeing, being tourists or whatever, they're gonna be thrown off by anything that comes their way. They're like, maybe I don't know, maybe dragons like that. I don't know. Zealot says, do you think CP0 will kill the 2 robot Vegapunks for tension? They aren't human, so maybe Oda will be willing to kill them unlike others. Does that mean that a part of Vegapunk's mind goes away, or does it return back to home base? You know what I mean? I don't know. Hawkbuck says, mandatory shout out to HelloFresh and Factor. Yeah, everybody get HelloFresh. And if you don't like cooking at all, then get Factor. But get one of those too. It's good for you. It's good for you. It's healthy. You guys could use that. Am I missing super chats like crazy? No, I'm not. Let me see. No, I'm not. What are you guys talking about? Let me open up the other tab. You guys make me open up the other tab for the randomest shit. Well, no, lots of times I have missed something, but usually not. Usually not. Usually I'm just getting to it. I didn't miss anything. I didn't miss anything. All right. I think we're good there. All right, I'm going to call the stream in 5-10 minutes probably. 5-10 minutes. Because I'm hungry. Because it's the middle of the day. Because chapter came out early. So we're streaming early. You guys get it. Code is Mr. Morj 60. You get 60% off. That's a really good deal. Or it's Morj 60. What's the code? I need the code. Is it Morj 60 or Mr. Morj 60? Which is it? I need the code. Fuck. They need the code. They need the code. Oh no. Oh no, they need the code. I gotta get these kids the code. Where is it? I feel like it's Morj 60. Okay. The code is something like, I think it's Morj or Morj 60. Try both of them. One of them will work. One of those two is the code. Try Morj 100 LMAO. No, that'll break the system. You guys will get 100% off. That's what they don't want me to tell you. Rusvan on Tanescu says, thank you for another great stream. Enjoy your meal. Yeah, everybody enjoy your HelloFresh meals. Enjoy some tasty HelloFresh meals. One sec. All right, I'm getting information that the code is in fact Morj 60. Everyone use that code. No, it's Morj 60. God damn it. So a random cat with internet access says, maybe there will be a cover story where Big Mom washes up on an island with no memory. I'm tired of no memory, Big Mom. Can we just talk about that? Big Mom's memory stuff going back and forth. I remember when Big Mom's memory stuff, it kept happening, and people were telling me, and I was getting annoyed by it. Included like all this random shit like mothering mode, memory, blah blah, and people were saying stuff like, well, it's clearly all leading for something really, really big for her character, for her to find out about all of the Mother Carmel stuff and, you know, her true self, etc. And then no, it didn't lead to any of that. It was just some weird shit that was in there for her for some reason. J Prisp says sponsor tier list. Sponsor tier list? Let's just say this. The ones that I don't like are the ones that I've stopped working with. I can say the ones I don't like, right? At this point. So the ones that I've stopped working with. There was one that was like Boxu, which was like a bunch of Japanese like snack type things. Boxu. I didn't like them because they were very not because I didn't like the product, but because the communication was really, really poor. My Boxu thing didn't arrive on time. It was all sorts of random shit. Yeah. I'm gonna close stream in a second, probably a couple minutes, and I think I'll throw up a poll. Again, members poll basically for what the next video will be, because I'm bouncing between two ideas right now. I think I know the one I'm leaning towards as is, but I'm interested to see what you guys pick. We'll see. All right, guys. Let me answer one more normal question, so no more supers or anything. Okay, last super from Hamda because he squeezed it in, but no more supers. Let me just see. Hamda Jaled asks, Luffy was so cute this chapter, especially with the bugs thing again. Lol, he's also the only character in any story to call the smartest person in the verse dumb. Haha. That is a really good point. I love how Luffy, who might literally be the dumbest character in the... Luffy might genuinely be the dumbest character in the world, right? And he shows up and just calls Vegapunk the smartest person in the world. This was an instance of literally the dumbest character in the world telling the smartest person, assuming that the smartest person in the world is stupid, which is just classic Luffy. Because he says it so shamelessly. It's like, do you know how dumb you are, Luffy? Ender Ayanami, thanks for being a member for 3 months. Not just a member, a Yonko tier member. Before you go, he's got a lot of emojis in here. Film Red overhyped. Sleeping face. Not worth price of admission if you catch my drift. Laughing Morj face. Arguably in bottom half of OP movies. Red Eye Morj face. All right. Well, thanks for the confirmation. I will not be watching Film Red. Let me answer one more question that's like a normal person question. Hawkbuck says, would you ever do a collab with King of Lightning? I had King of Lightning on for power scaling. I actually thought it was like one of the most fun streams I've ever had. Collab streams I've ever had. HSR says, where's the hoodie from? The hoodie is literally just says like Ireland or some shit. My parents got it when they were in Ireland. So they gave it to me. S says, take off your hoodie before leaving. No, it's cold now. Morj pronounced the B in dumb? Yeah. How do you guys say dumb? Dumb. Dumb? Okay, let me just say it in a sentence. I think this is dumb. Yeah, that's how you say it, right? Dumb. Yeah. I got it right. All right, I got it right. I do want to check with it. Okay, only people that have seen Film Red answer this. Only people that have seen Film Red. Was Film Red good? Only people that have seen Film Red. I'm going to say enjoyable. Enjoyable. Good is a strong word. Enjoyable. Only people. Like, I'm serious. Don't fucking answer if you haven't done it. Okay, people liked Film Red. People liked Film Red. That's all right. Now I have to consider watching it. I did not expect it. It was a 72% overwhelming majority. And I imagine like a lot of people like voted no just out of spite. So 70% majority. So that's interesting. Maybe I'll watch it at some point. I don't think I'll watch it in theaters, but maybe I'll do like a live reaction stream or something for you guys. I could do it. All right, guys. On that, I'm going to end the stream. Good stuff. I will talk to you all later. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for joining all the new members. Again, we'll be doing a poll for next video for Tuesday. Member exclusive poll if you guys want to join. That's about it. And I'll talk to you all later. Peace.